What's the creepiest thing that ever happened to you? I was 10ish having a sleepover at my house with a friend. We played games, watched a movie, ate junk food, stayed up late, the works. Eventually we get tired and go to sleep in my room. We both fall asleep, but a few hours later she wakes me up because she needs to go to the bathroom. I'm super confused because she knew where the bathroom was. We'd been friends since kindergarten and it was literally a door over from my room. She insisted, so I got up and took her to the bathroom. She said she wasn't feeling great. She was never the one to get uncomfortable, so I asked her what was wrong, but she said she just felt like she couldn't sleep in my room that night. I told her staying up later wouldn't help her feel any better and we agreed to go to bed. Bathroom door open, I turn out the lights, pitch black. We start walking back to my room and she follows behind holding my hand and suddenly I start feeling uneasy. When I say it was a door over, I mean maybe a whole 10 paces or so. Again, not that far, but in the span of a couple seconds, I went from feeling fine to feeling sharp prickles on the back of my neck and a bad feeling in my gut. We get to my room door and in the darkness, I see an outline of a tall figure shifting and a gentle squeaking sound. I felt cold and hollow and I knew it was looking at me, because when I looked in its direction, the squeaking stopped for a second. My friend was clenching my hand and not breathing, and I told myself what all adults tell themselves because I wanted to be brave for my friend. It's nothing. I reached out a hand and flipped the light switch to turn on the overhead light. 6-foot tall man, frozen, staring at me with his hands in the air, one holding the glass orb diffuser that goes over the light bulb, the other on the light bulb, and he turned his hand a little and unscrewed the light bulb. It went pitch black. I flinched and waited, but we heard nothing. Nothing moved or squeaked or rustled. I flipped the light switch off, then on again. My room lit up and everything was normal. No person, no overhead light taken apart, nothing. We searched my room for him, which didn't take long to no avail. I was on the second floor, the shades were still drawn, the windows locked, screen in the window. We checked downstairs in the locks, but they had been locked after dinner by my parents and we hadn't touched them. I asked if she saw him, despite knowing we were both looking for him. She said yes, and it was nice to know it wasn't just me that saw it, but I never had an explanation for that. What's the scariest thing you've experienced that you have photo evidence of? Here's mine. I was camping with some friends in the woods behind another friend's house. Halfway through the night, I decided to get some firewood for the campfire. On my way back, I felt like I was being watched. It was a half moon, so there was enough light for me to barely see around me. And as I looked around, my eyes fell on a person's face poking from behind a tree. The face was grotesque, pale with hollowed eyes and a gaping mouth. I didn't hesitate to drop everything and run. And when I came back to the group, I was panicked and scared. After telling them what had happened, my friends decided they wanted to see for themselves and brought me with them. I was hesitant, but going with a group seemed better than being alone. We brought flashlights this time, and when we came to the place I saw the face, it was still there. After shining the light on it, it was a rotten styrofoam head on a stick someone put behind the tree. It looked like it had been there for a while. Some green moss growing on it, discoloration, etc. The scariest part about this was my friend, whose house was in front of the woods we were in, swore up and down that he didn't put it there. He was pretty shaken. We got a picture of the head though, and here's the picture. My sister's friend was dog sitting for a family out of town. She'd go over there once or twice a day to walk them, feed them, play with them, etc. The family had asked her to send pictures of the dogs just to ease their minds. So one day she got their camera ready to take a video as she called the dogs to her once she got into the house. And here's the video. No one else had a key to the house. She didn't see it until she rewatched the video seconds later to confirm it was good to send to the owners. She immediately ran out the front door, called the police, who came and found no windows or doors unlocked except the one she had unlocked herself to come in. No evidence of anything missing. She was scared, to say the least, and rightfully so.
My daughter, who went missing 3 years ago, just showed up on my doorstep. My wife and I had just sat down to dinner when we were interrupted, first by the sound of the front doorknob twisting, then by 3 loud knocks. I stood up from the table and went to the front door, wondering who would have tried the knob first before knocking. My brother, maybe, but it was a little late for a visit from him on a weeknight. The sound of the rainstorm outside grew as I opened the door. When I saw her standing on the porch, covered in rain and mud, my heart nearly leapt out of my chest. "Hi, Daddy," Sarah said. The way her eyes and nose were scrunched up told me she was crying, even though the rain washed away her tears the second they fell from her eyes. "Can I come inside? It's so cold." I heard something glass shatter in the kitchen, then rushed footsteps. I grabbed my daughter in a tight embrace and began to sob. "Oh my God, you're home," I said. 3 years ago, we had reported our daughter missing. We told the police that we had put her to bed one night, and the next morning she was gone. The police found that her bedroom window showed evidence of having been pried open. My wife Hannah and I hadn't heard anything that night, and the neighbors all agreed that they hadn't either. What happened next was the largest search party in our small town's history. It's not often that 13-year-old girls go missing, especially under such terrible and mysterious circumstances, but despite everyone's best efforts and news reports throughout the state and neighboring states, there was no trace to be found of our little girl. I picked her up and carried her into the house while she sobbed into my neck. I heard my wife turn the corner, let out a small scream, then run to join us in our first complete family hug in 3 years. "What happened?" Hannah asked. "Did anyone follow you here?" "No," Sarah said through her sobs. "I don't know what happened. I just woke up in the dark and started trying to find my way home. I don't know where I was, somewhere in the desert, I think, and I just started walking." I set her down and looked at her again. Her hair was long, it probably hadn't been cut since the night we lost her, and the clothes she wore looked like they'd been given to her by a homeless person. "Let's get you a hot shower," my wife said. "Are you hungry?" Sarah sniffed and nodded. "Can I have a peanut butter sandwich?" "Anything," my wife said, now choking back tears of her own. "I can't believe you're back." We dressed her in some of Hannah's old clothes, which were still a little large for Sarah. I promised to go to the store first thing in the morning to buy a whole new wardrobe. The rest of the evening was spent with tears and laughter. Hannah and I couldn't believe she was back, and with no recollection of the time between the night she disappeared and when she woke up. Perhaps that much was for the best.